Exactly 22 years after China took control here, the youth of Hong Kong today vented their fury, attempting to smash their way into the territory's parliament.
You can see these more radical activists. They've just broken through the window of the LegCo building here behind me. They've managed to smash through this toughened glass, and they're now trying to get inside the LegCo building. Inside, you can see there are large numbers of riot police. So far, they've held back.
The destruction continued, but the police stood by. It looked very much like they'd been ordered not to intervene. Meanwhile, across town, hundreds of thousands of other Hong Kongers were on the march in a second huge anti-government protest. This one was completely peaceful. But even here, there was sympathy for those besieging Parliament.
I understand what they are doing, and I thank you to them for taking the risk to go to jail and try to stop the government from handing over all the lives of Hong Kong people to CCP.
Back outside Parliament, the trashing continued. The police now nowhere to be seen.
Now they're trying to smash their way through the steel shutters. And the crowd here, every so often, they start shouting, "Jiao, jiao" means add oil. In other words, keep going, keep going. What's the point of this?
We only know peaceful protest is not useful anymore at this moment. So you can say it's drawing attention or make some noise to make people know what happens here, and let more people know the government is not listening to our peaceful protests.
Finally, the steel shutters gave way and the protesters poured in. Inside, the trashing continued. In the chamber, they raised the old British colonial flag. What must the Chinese Communist government in Beijing be thinking as it watches these images? How long till there are mainland Chinese troops on the streets of Hong Kong? Outside, the police had now finally massed their forces, and at midnight they struck with a huge barrage of tear gas. The police had now suddenly lost their earlier timidity. I'm now inside the legislative chamber, and as you can see, the place has been completely cleared of protesters. The police are now firmly in control. You can still taste and smell tear gas in the air here. As we've come into the building, we have seen an enormous amount of damage. This building has been badly trashed, and you can see the graffiti on the wall behind me here. Already tonight, many in the opposition are starting to ask questions about the wisdom of these young protesters storming into this building, whether it was really a victory of any sort, or in fact it has handed a victory to the government. In the last hour, Hong Kong Chief Executive Carrie Lam has held an emergency press conference to condemn the violence.
Nothing is more important than the rule of law in Hong Kong. So I hope the community at large will agree with us that with these violent acts that we have seen, it is right for us to condemn it and hope society will return to normal.
This graffiti calls the government dogs. Another says, "You forced us to do this." Hong Kong is now more polarised than at any time since the handover. Many are worried this has now gone too far, but others are asking what has driven Hong Kong's youth to such violence. Rupert Wingfield-Hayes, BBC News in Hong Kong.